as chair, will you hold elected Democrat politicians accountable if they accept dirty money, corporate PAC money, so on and so forth? And if so, how?
Okay, so
NRA money.
yeah.
How dirty do you get?
NRA, you're done.
So, so there's a whole piece and a whole project around party campaign finance that I've been talking about. It's in my platform about replacing the corporate money that comes into the party with clean money, with money from individuals, from unions, from communities. But in terms of candidates, I think the most important accountability measure, it has to be the policy and the votes. We have to start there. And the reason for that is campaign finance is like, it's so opaque, it's so complicated, and we do have some real champions on policy, people like Lorena Gonzalez-Fletcher, who takes all kinds of money I would never touch. But like, it doesn't affect her voting record. It just really doesn't when you look at the bills that she writes and the bills that she champions. I'd rather be using our grassroots power and my, I think, overblown but important power of the bully pulpit to call people out on their votes when they're voting against our platform, against our priorities. And using, it's not just about call out, right? It's also about calling in, but also using our grassroots power to like encourage and give carrots to the folks who are standing up for us, who are taking tough votes, and so forth. So, you know, politicians like to give a little love on the Facebook or on social media and so forth from the party. So we need a combination of that carrot of like, we're going to big up you, we're going to give you love when you support the party, when you support the party's priorities, and we've got a stick to call you out when you're totally going off the rails and voting against the interests of the community. So I'm going to be really, really focused on the outcomes piece and the policy piece. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I'm a delegate for 8026. I just wanted to, if you could please clarify what you mean by resources to central committees and local clubs. I understand your hesitancy to guarantee financial backing. So what is your vision of the resources that you would provide?
Yeah, well, the first is like attention and expertise, right? And so way before we start a coordinated campaign effort, it's not just bringing all the regional directors and the county chairs into a room to kind of like spit information at them, but really like convening them around regions to sit down and talk about what their goals are. We want a coordinated campaign headquarters, you know, for Tulare County, right? Okay, well, what does it mean? How close are we to getting there? My campaign staff, my organizing staff, is not going to come in and build a structure over on top of the grassroots party that pops up for an election and then goes away. It's going to be about investing in the existing infrastructure. You know, that's, again, the choice that I've made over the last 15 years is to do that unsexy work of building that infrastructure and that capacity. So, specifically, it's about helping them put those coordinated campaigns together, build a coalition that can get the money in the door to open the office. It's going to be about staffing and sharing staff positions for those coordinated campaigns that the CDP helps fund, but the local efforts help fund, and they're answerable to the local coordinated campaign. You know, it's one thing to say, like, we'll hire a bunch of organizers and send them out, but I'm sure everyone here has had an experience with somebody being parachuted in from outside who doesn't understand what's been going on or what's happening, right? I don't want to replicate what's wrong with the D-TRIP in the CDP. So it starts from identifying what the needs are at the local level and building out from there. For some, it might be training. For others, it's just really giving people permission to do the stuff they're already doing, right? For others, it's help with fundraising. I don't believe in a one-size-fits-all from the top approach. It's got to come from bottom up. Yeah, there's been no questions from women. Okay. Marsha.
Yes, I understand before my.
Yeah, but
thank you all very much.
okay, you got 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes.
Okay, so I love the party too. I started my party activism at COS when I ran for a student government position when I was a student there, and you can tell that was a long time ago.
Awesome.
And I was on the Central Committee for Tulare County when I was 18, when we'd just gotten the vote. So don't look that up, how long that was. But at the last time we elected a party chair, you talked about bringing the knives out and how ugly it gets. The knives were out and it was really ugly. That was a very, for me, emotionally difficult convention because of the knives and the ugliness. Are we going to see that again at this convention? And how do you feel about all that?
I feel really sad about it, and disturbed, and yeah, I do fear that we could have a repeat of last time. If anybody saw some of the footage of what happened in Los Angeles at the Central Committee, that was a kind of, unfortunately, could be a booing, pushing, shoving, etc. Look, I mean, again, when we focus on who's going to be in positions, we forget about the people who elected us and the people who are out there knocking on doors, and frankly, the people out there who are suffering, right? We may think in our bubble that this fight over who's a regional director, who's the party chair, who gets an endorsement is like the most important thing in the absolute world, and that often leads us to lose sight of the fact that the single mom who's trying to think about how they're going to put food on the table doesn't give a crap about who's winning this internal fight in the Democratic Party. When we remember that we're all representatives of people in struggle, when we remember that we're here to protect the environment that can't speak up for itself, when we concentrate on that, then hopefully we build the kind of maturity that it takes to understand that you and I may be on the opposite side of a chairs race this time, but in 2 years we're going to need each other, right, to beat an emerging fascist government, right? And that's how I've always worked. That's the model that how I've tried to model my behavior as a Democrat, as a progressive, as a trade union leader in my union. That's what I'll continue to do if I'm elected chair. Yeah.
Time's up, folks, but thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Please get a donut and some coffee, man. And, thank you so much.
And I have flyers out there that also have endorsement cards. So if you like what you've heard and you'd like to sign on, we'd really love your support. You can just fill that out and hand it.